What category?
Category 4 or 5?
5.
5,
yeah. 5, yeah. 317 km/h winds were recorded. 317 km/h.
So at that time you evacuate to another place or still
and the barometer went right to the bottom.
At that time you evacuate to another place or you still
just destroyed everything. We had first off the wind picked up and up till about midnight, and it was shocking. And then all of a sudden it went quiet when the eye passed over. We were on the back here, and he walked outside to start up the generator to get the electricity on the deep freezes and that. And the stars were shining, it was beautiful, clear, black sky with so many stars you couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
We don't see many stars up here because of our atmosphere, not like down south. But this time you looked up and everything was just there, you could almost touch it. And that lasts for about a quarter of an hour and then it come back the other way. Okay. Oh, he smoked the wind.
So you were actually here that day, were you?
No, we weren't here. We're a couple of kilometres back in the back box there.
So this damage was the wind or the waves?
Well, the wind did all the damage, and then some water came. Now, a lot of people say the water did come from the ocean. We know that. It came from the ocean because it was salt water. But we don't believe that it actually rose up like a tide, as they call a tidal surge. We believe it actually went like a water spout. We have water spouts here. And that water was travelling at 300 kilometres an hour around in a big circle. And it just went through and just wiped everything in its path right out. If you walk in underneath my house and you see things that, it turned and twisted deep freezers and refrigerators in half. Wow. The power of it.
So was everyone... I've never been to this end of Mission Beach before. This must have been where they had the landslide, you see.
Looking at the window.
Yeah. And they'll be here.
To this land, can we call it Cassowary land?
Yes,
to make it simple.
The Democratic Republic of Cassowary.
Okay. Let's put it this way. I'm a senior advisor to the government. You have the president and the deputy right there. So you can rely on us for any information you need. Some background just about what Jeff mentioned. Yasi, very important cyclone for the area. You have seen that on the way here. So basically, we as the government, we want to use this opportunity and have you do an analysis and study of what happened and how to move forward. So, as it was said before, two groups, United Nations Development Program, World Bank, will work together and sort of competing with each other to come up with the best analysis possible.
And I would intervene there to say that competition between all these donors, as any of them, always happens, and they don't collaborate as much as they ought to.
So this is an exercise prepared just for you to see what could be the potential elements of friction between different groups, what can come out of the same information that you gather and analyze and digest and so on. You may come up with completely different results of your analysis, and that's also useful. So what we want you to do is to look at environmental, social, and economic impacts. When it comes to environmental impacts, anything that goes from the coast to plant and trees and animals, wild animals, cattle, and so on. Then on the social side, anything that you can think of concerning population. It could be employment, short-term employment, longer-term employment consequences, income, for instance. What happens to salaries if someone gets out of the job? Or what happens to those that are able to help others in fixing their apartments, houses, and so on and so forth. And then economic impact, that could be damage to the built-up environment, so anything from roads, public infrastructure, from electricity transmission lines, buildings, public or private, and so on and so forth. Anything that has to do with future projection, because we have an immediate impact, but we may also have longer-term, medium, longer-term consequences. Think of agricultural production. If production goes down because there is a damage, it goes down for a certain period of time, not just for one day. And then tourism and any other economic activity that made this area work and flourish.
No, I think agriculture is part of the economy.
Yeah, we need to see the number.
Memory knows you
There was a bedroom here with a carpet floor and a nice bedroom suite.
Yeah.
And there's a bathroom way out there and another little bedroom there. All up to pieces.
So did you think how long it should take time to rebuild this floor? Did you think how long it should take time to rebuild this floor?
How long before we get back?
How long it should take time to rebuild this floor?
Oh, when they start on it, probably only a couple of months.
This was your bathroom here.
This is a little bathroom, the shower said.
Yeah.
Just for visitors that came and stayed for a couple of days.
Oh, nice sea view anyway,
There's a
isn't
little
it?
lounge over here, carpets on the floor. Now we've got a beautiful view.
You certainly do.
You're in the shower.
Yeah.
You can make a deck there.
Bathroom with a view.
Like, you can imagine a little bathroom with a hand basin and all that here.
and then can see
Showers there. Yeah. All those sort of things.
Yeah.
That's the shower. It's all twisted up.
Would you say your business is back to normal now?
No, slowly, but it'll take a long time. There's not much infrastructure left in the town. Like the water blocks aren't working, and there's not much to look at, and caravan parks have just been fixed. There you go. So there's a lot of work to be done, but it's slowly getting better. Once again, it's too many chiefs and not enough Indians to do the work. Okay. Everyone knows best. Thank you. See ya.
And he would tell you that the improved one, I reckon, it's not
Hi, Tucker. Hello.
All excluded, it's not like it's all bycatch, so it's all behind.
Oh, just have to go to Cairns Beach and catch some yourself.
Yeah, no worries, eh?
Thanks, mate.
Hi, I'm Peter Campbell from Silkwood Seafoods. The Yasi impacted us in several ways. We lost all our product at the storage facility, and the tourists just aren't here. The caravan parks are just about empty, and that's where the big draw card for us. We go through the caravan parks and Cairns and up there. Yeah, that's about all I can say about that.
So this time last year, how much down is your business?
Oh, we're only a couple of 50% of what it normally is. It's not working. Just
So
the tourists.
almost has wiped you
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Well, this is our first markets we've done since Yasi. It's the first bit of income we've had since Yasi, so
Right.
we're on our own four.
Right. So it's been pretty tough for the last few months
Oh,
now.
yeah, shocking, yeah.
Okay. What about your house? Do you live locally?
I live at Silkwood.
It's Silkwood. Oh, right. Okay. Did you
Yeah.
have much damage over
Yeah,
there?
we lost a shed. Yeah, a fair bit of damage. All the house got right inside. Still waiting on assessors and that sort of gear.
Still
so
waiting. Oh,
it's shocking.
right. Okay. So you've got no word on when you may
No,
have
it's just
your house back
when
to
you ring them
normal?
up, they tell you, oh, it's in the pipework, so whenever it happens, it happens.
Okay.
It's
Can I ask
dragging
which
along pretty
which insurance company you're with?
well. CGU.
CGU. Oh, haven't heard of that one.
They're doing the best. I think they're
Yeah,
doing pretty well,
okay.
overwhelmed. But,
Sure.
yeah.
Okay. So you sound pretty positive anyway.
Oh.
Things will be back soon to normal.
We got
hopefully.
Larry, so
Yeah.
we're used to it. And now we're Yasi, so
Yeah. Okay. What's next, sort of thing?
yeah, what's next? Happens in three, so we'll wait and see.
Oh no.
No worries.
Still got a little bit of brown on his tail because it's not non-adult.
How old would this be? With 3, 4 years?
Yeah, 3, maybe 4. Yeah. On the Cassowary. No, he's not sitting on any eggs.
You haven't had them nesting around.
No, I haven't seen any. But I did see on the internet that there's a place native in Cameroon selling Cassowary eggs from Australia.
Sort of shells.
Trading, trading.
The hatch.
I just saw it. I just saw it yesterday.
You work a lot of cameras.
I'll show you. There's somebody there who's trading in the Cassowary eggs from Australia. Virgin Cassowary eggs. Where are they coming from?
Off you go.
They're very good at rearing chicks. They have a high survival rate to appoint to adolescence. And then once they are abandoned by the father, then there's dogs, and then they go across the roads and find a new territory. So
When are they going to get abandoned after? How old are they?
after about 8 months.
8 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so because see the impact of the cyclone, you said there's no fruit right now.
Yeah.
It's been 3 months.
Yeah.
So they're about 5 months to become independent. Otherwise, they're on their own. They're likely going to die because there's no food, so they can find easily.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Unless they can, be part of the food stations, but then cassowaries tend to hog food stations.
And small ones, they're not so resilient in walking longer distances and so on. Maybe.
No, that's right. And then, of course, they're crossing open country where they're subject to dogs and crossing roads, and they're very skittish. They're uncertain. They're much more nervous moving around the neighbourhood. And so, yeah, they have a very the survival rate is not very high once they're kicked out. And also, cassowaries occupy 100% of their habitat. So, and an adult lives to 40, 50 years of age. So, something's got to come out of that population for another one to come into it.
That's a very good point.
So
It's exactly what we looked at yesterday. Remember, so the area is the carrying capacity. They use 100% of their space, so I assume they move around quite a lot and they use their own territory. So the only way to add cassowaries to the area is for some to die, so that there is some space that is being freed up for or plant more trees or expand the carrying capacity.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's exactly what we looked at yesterday.
Any branches which become dominant, so if you've got a branch that
Before that, Yasi, these had a lot of fruit on. Like there should be fruit. There'd be fruit this size at least by now. They had a massive fruit set.
So this is the thing with the star cross section.
They've got an internal, not a star fruit, not a carambola.
Okay, the star fruit is. Yeah, we found it. That's the carambola.
Yeah. You can see there's a couple of fruit there that were there in the cyclone and didn't get broken off, but again, without the wires, we would have had 100% loss here, without doubt. Every tree would be gone. And some poles, like somebody was saying before about the poles, you can see have worked around a lot, but at the base of the trees, there's no movement. The trees have stayed really well. The south of, yeah, that's
6 weeks ago you had a Cassowary fight.
No, all stripped, there were no leaves. Yeah, they're coming away well. In fact, they're pretty quick. Outside the square in other countries or whatever, or other growing systems or other tree crops as we have with the Datura trials. It took them 30 years to get to this stage, and we're just applying it to tropical fruits.
But you said that they don't even like the fertilizers.
DPI.
Yeah.
No, they're negative about it. There's they've come and seen us with a DPI mob just earlier since the cyclone, because now they're looking at it as a security in a Category 5 cyclone. And I believe there's no way we can grow tropical fruit here without supporting structure. But the exciting thing from Larry is we didn't expect to have to test it with a Category 5, but it's worked. And just the yield benefits and the efficiencies and the quality that we'll get leaves it for dead.
And what does the EPA say?
They tried it on mangoes in the Northern Territory and it didn't work was the main context, but just because they try something, because they work on a scientific basis and they do their bullshit programs, just because they can't make it work doesn't mean a farmer can't make it work. They're unlikely to make it work because of the way they go on holidays and they don't do stuff and different things. Whereas we have to produce fruit. We don't need documents or papers or stuff that will be filed away to gather dust. We want to grow fruit.
But there's some very basic things that you don't really need to pass in a lab. I mean, it's stronger. There's more branches, and when you get strong wind, it doesn't break down at once. It just maybe you get the leaves off fine, but the structure remains.
I'll show you something in a minute that'll blow you away with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Proof of that. Yeah, there's a lot of. It's not rocket science.
Right.
Like we don't have to go and invent the wheel. Somebody did that 1,000 years ago or whatever. Like, yeah. And there's still growers saying to me, how much did your wires cost? And I'm saying, how much is 600 trees worth? Just to buy the trees originally, if you can buy them, how much is that worth? And how much is 4 or 5 years in getting those trees to that stage? I know I've got a lot of losses still there, but we'll have trees like that one behind you. They'll be producing rambutans in 2 years, whereas other people have got nothing. So the cost of the structure is nothing.
How much have you lost in terms of your potential revenue? Roughly, in your percentage, not an absolute number. Let's say 10%, 20% with respect to...
for this year, 100%. 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, like the star apples had a lot of fruit on, there's a lot of different stuff, and these rambutans would have fruited. We would have pushed them later this year for a flowering.
Comparing to others that don't apply this system, in the range of, say, the next 3 years, how much would you have lost? Since here your fruits grow faster after the cyclone.
In what we call the dinosaur orchard, the old rambutans, some of them have survived, but there's a lot of trees that are just completely broken off. And I'll show you one in a second, remind me, because there's one over there, which is very graphic. Because see, along that edge of the scrub line, there was one row left after Larry. Cyclone Larry, the eye crossed north of us, that we had wind from this way. This was all rambutan trees, 6 years old, full of fruit, first crop, first dollar return. Almost all gone except that one row. Now, that one row is completely gone with a Category 5 with wind coming from both ways. And one of those trees that was there, see the top of that bank there? See that tree that's with the trunk this way? Right. That's a rambutan tree that came from up there.
How did it get there?
It blew there in the first part of the wind. So
you get more or less short term, you get the same damage that everybody else will get.
Yeah, but that's